Bodybuilding for Babies. The purpose of this text is to give you a head start and show that adults are even bigger babies. Parents, don't let babies get too buff, nor should you tolerate memorization for grades. There's no substitute for comprehension and no excuses in the age of AI that can explain everything. Somehow, all the bodybuilders are simply doing it wrong. Some are doing it in stupidly dangerous ways. The reason for that is twofold. Everyone wants to show off how heavy they lift, and nobody wants to do something different. They just want to do what everyone else is doing. When you go to school, you will see the same thing. Everyone will be just memorizing and pretending that it's real education. And then, when reality comes a-knocking, bodybuilders will be small and students utterly uneducated. There will be some pain in the beginning, but please don't worry about that. That is just from stretching and actually starting to use your muscles. The pain goes away so fast that you forget you are achy in the beginning. Just give it a couple of weeks. Like in jogging, there is initial training here, and you must go through it. It's very important. This is not bodybuilding yet, just building up the endurance for bodybuilding. You start with the lightest dumbbells and lift and walk and twist and turn. Lift them above your head, do bicep curls, lift them to your side. When your hands get tired, switch how you are lifting your dumbbells. You follow the same procedure as joggers. Focus on eliminating your rest a little bit at a time. You can use an interval timer for that. There's always a free app somewhere, and clip-on timers come with a hefty vibrate function. The combination of lifting to the beat of music and vibrating timers makes for a distraction-free workout that is purely driven by dance, and I highly recommend that, especially as you get older and get into 3 or 4 hour workouts. Your bodybuilding will begin when you can lift 2 pounds non-stop for an hour. You can pause for a little while to drink your formula or cause some mischief. But you should not be stopping because you have to. If you must stop because you can't lift anymore, then that means you need to continue your training for a month, maybe a few more months. It is also a good idea to pretend to need to stop every once in a while, and sometimes slow down for a couple of days. I often do that as not to stick out too much. Otherwise, people will accuse you of using weird things and talk about what else may be in your milk bottle. But gradually adapting to progressively heavier weights is what our bodies evolved for. They aren't just self-renewing machines, but building machines as well. And the first thing you do when you begin your real training is increase your lifting weight. Babies go up 1 pound, which is a lot. Adults by never more than 2.5 pounds. That's the maximum a human can handle for an hour. Gyms made a huge mistake spacing their weights 5 pounds apart. That is twice the maximum that a human can handle. If 3 pounds is too much, and very often it is, go back to 2 pounds and then slowly work in the 3 over a stretch of time. The same goes for adults, of course. If you can't upgrade cleanly, mix it up. It's okay. Now, babies don't need more than 3 pounds, but teenagers should go up to 10, and if they are crazy, up to 15. So, starting with 2.5 pounds, moving to 5 pounds, moving to 7.5 pounds, and then the big 1-0, and then the 12.5 pounds, and 15 pounds. That is a lot if you are lifting for an hour or two. Dancing with 15 pounds per hand almost every day will transform the body very quickly, in a matter of months. The other way, with sets and reps, usually takes a couple of decades, which is kind of ridiculous. Adults can probably make their way all the way up to 25 pounds, but that is a lot, and I think that does become dangerous. But it is important to note that anything beyond 25 pounds is simply unnecessary. Our bodies will adapt way before getting there, so you don't need to worry about the rest of the weight rack. That is the main thing behind bodybuilding. Gradually heavier weights, and our bodies slowly adapting to handle them. You have to give your body time to adapt. If you were to start with 25 pounds, your body will not adapt to handle it because it's just too much. Our bodies will stop. Lifting 25 pounds for less than a minute doesn't do much. That people initially gain muscle from that does not mean that 25 pounds worked. It didn't. Lifting 25 pounds for less than a minute before stopping is like lifting 2 pounds for maybe 30 minutes or less. For adults, that is just barely anything. It is not even a good workout for babies, not really. I suppose it could work for house cats. But who needs a buff house cat nowadays? Just let the kitty sleep. So bodybuilding is not about anaerobic or aerobic or sets and reps and supersets or protein powders even. And creatine just makes a person bloated. It's just water retention. Eating complex carbs throughout the day to stabilize sugars and energy is actually the one useful thing you need. And then the second is protein, so that your body can heal properly. Fish, chicken, nuts, trail mix are all a really good source. In conclusion, bodybuilding is a beautiful and simple endurance sport where you lift light for a long time, but not so light that you can lift more, but not so much that you are forced to stop and can't lift for a long time. Do not pay attention to people lifting heavy for a short time. Not only does that make them look silly because they are trying to look strong so hard, but their heavy weights have them locked. As they can't lift heavier, they plateau. What they are actually doing is the equivalent of lifting light, and rarely for long enough, but without the benefits of lifting light, which is having the ability to just add 2.5 pounds to something that is already pretty light and manageable for an hour or 2 or 3. Lifting heavy for a short time won't let you advance. Lifting light for multiple hours grows muscles in a matter of months. Lastly, if you ever become obese, that added heavy fat is exactly like lifting dumbbells all the time. large people get a huge head start in bodybuilding, though at the same time, skinny people get muscle definition faster, so in the end it all equalizes and evens out. Now, your generation will live a very long time. By the time you get old, you will have a powerful cure for aging. But you still need to take good care of yourself, so the sooner, the better. For the rest of us, those who care, we still get to our anti-aging treatment, but we need to hop along almost on one leg. In the end, we will live long. But, and this is big, for the older generations, bodybuilding and fitness is not optional. People in their middle age and past it must meet early anti-aging treatments halfway as a fit, strong, and muscular bodybuilder. For the older adults, bodybuilding is still the finest anti-aging treatment today.